Welcome all. Uh, this is my first video on YouTube. So I will be starting with a Android project. This is basically on Jetpack Compose. As you can see here, Compose option is enabled, and yeah, I'm using the latest version of Compose UI and Material 3 as well. And I will be using different libraries as well, like Hilt for dependency injection. I'll be using view models for business logic, retrofit for making API calls, Firebase for different use cases as required. Then I've added JUnit, so we'll see how to write test cases as well. Then Chrome browser for opening a URL, permissions, location to get the correct location, required to show the image, time ago library to know how much time ago that timestamp is, then logger for showing a log. Then this is for seeing leak in the application if it is going to. And yeah, for backend, I'm not be giving much focus on that because basically I'm working on Python project and I've decided to make a backend from it. So little bit, if you want to know, I'm using Flask for creating RESTful APIs, and for different use cases and creating classes and all. I will run the application, and meanwhile I will show you the structure of the project. It's not much, so I have these 4 packages as of now. App layer is basically the UI layer, the view model and all. Code is basically all the core functionalities which are requiring different different layers basically. I will tell about this error, why this comes. Yeah. Then data layer for which handles all the API calls using retrofit to the Python project. Then device for like local storage and doing any device specific work. Yeah. Then dependency injection classes like injecting retrofit, the main application class, the repositories, and all the services basically which are being used into the application. Domain is basically what how can I put it? It basically decides from where the data should be coming from, like the source basically, data or device. And it has basically like model classes, repositories, and use cases. And resources, there is not much, only the app icon and all those things. There is one more folder. It's basically this I am still working on. This basically to add documents on in all the Android Kotlin files, but yeah, it's not ready yet, but yeah, I'm trying to make it as good as possible. This is for generating translations. Basically what it does is it opens this JSON file, which is basically this one. Yeah. So it's basically open this JSON files and then create a translation. It's already there, but it updates that translation file with the latest value. Like it's almost I only need this line for any value in the translation. For example, if I add a key and make it as this one and just click on run, or I just need to start the Gradle and I will show from how it is doing it. So as soon as the Gradle gets completed, you can see task has been created. So this is basically what it does is it gets the string from a object translation class, which has nothing but a JSON object. Yeah, nothing else. Just remove it because we don't need it. And just build it once more. Let it run once. I will show how the translation work is done. It's nothing but a Gradle task added to the Gradle on the app layer. Yeah, this one. So it calls that Python script directly, and here I have added it like it depends on the object translations. There is one more task. Which is check environment, is what the error which you saw when I first click on the run button. It's nothing but it checks if the URL which is added here is up and running or not. And why I need that, because the server which I am running currently, it's on local. Yeah, so it's not on the production or on a server as of now. I'm thinking of adding into the Firebase host, but yeah, it's in the to-do list. And I can see like whatever API calls which has been made till now and all those from here. So the task is done. Just reinstall the app from scratch to show the flow. So as of now I haven't created much, but I will show the complete flow. No need to worry there. So for signing the user, I'm basically using Firebase Auth UI. So sign-in launcher or something, which has the default UI for Firebase already added in. So I haven't given much work into this. I'm using whatever Firebase has already provided and just logging the user. So if I click here, I will add the email ID. And it will ask me for the password. After signing in, it calls an API, which is using the Python project which I have added. And if I can show you the logs, basically what it is calling. So this is the first API which gets called into the application. Then whenever user logs in, we call this API to get the current user details and the address and all those things, which is being already added. I will show that page as well by the user when the user is first time logging in. So I have created a profile page. Here user sees all his details which is being added, like address, professor, how many days the user has joined, although the phone number, email address, the properties which has been added. So this application is basically like renter and owner. So what it does is, so basically what the application is about. So there are two types of users in this. One is a renter and another one is a owner. Renter is basically what it will do is look for properties to rent, see the monthly rent, deposits, perks, agreements, and then send a request to the owner, search for property based on current property, and so now owner has almost same. It's basically like add new property uppercase, then search for vectors, then as of now it's only this, and few which every user will have, like what's user details, property details, complete search, location search, yeah. And yeah, as of now I have done these. There are few issues which I will be taking up while I am doing the project, and I have been making note of all those. So these are the things I want to add, and these are the ones which I need to fix. Add more for add like something. And location wise search I have added for ranked, but also I'm still working. Permission handling is not at its best right now. There are some issues, and yeah, this is something I will tell in the upcoming videos. There are some issues and all those things which I will tell as I move forward. Okay, where was I will show one of the how I am handling few things, so it will be easier to understand most of the things. So first one is navigation. So basically I'm using Navos, the nav controller thing. So these are the routes as of now, and I've created a extension. Basically what it does is it creates a part if it has arguments as well, rather than typing it one by one and all those things. It will do it by itself. And what I'm using the part is to redirect the user to the specific part to a specific screen. The splash screen, the home screen, option, property screen, and all those things. Now, and yeah, based on if it's argument based, then I'm fetching up the argument and opening the screen based on that. If there is some error, then there is a common screen which goes to that error screen directly. Now, how I am navigating is I'm using a navigator class. It's not much, but it's basically a mutable life data which has a type alias of nav controller. It's basically what it gives in the navigator nav controller to whatever page or whatever place from it want to navigate. For example, let's suppose I want to navigate from home screen to user screen. So how will I do that? So let's suppose user clicks on this profile icon and it redirects to the user details page. So how it does is it fetches the current user ID from the use case and it redirects the user to the user details route with the user ID. So as you can see, there is a argument with user IDs which is required. Okay. So this is only for that. some other things are translation is basically I'm fetching this one JSON file into the translation JSON, and then I am whenever I need to, like this is a object class, so whenever I need, like let's suppose joined a group, this one, so I just call this anywhere I want to, and just with the string it will fetch it from the JSON file. Simple like this. Then this is for starting the observer for the navigation, and this is for the org state change. This is basically to see if the user is authenticated or not, given any timing to the application. So if authenticated, it will redirect the user to the home screen by popping up to the splash. Then unauthenticated, then it will redirect the user to the option screen, and also log out the user. So what the user, what in the program we have to do, we have to just call this one. So let's suppose user wants to log out, so I just need to call state change to this unauthenticated. So there are two things here, user details and the org state. User details is basically the current user details the app has basically. Now this is how I'm making an API call. So if I go to the home screen view model, I must be calling check for user details. So now here are few things I will say first. So we get the current user ID using authentication use case, and from there using the authentication repository, which gets the current user from the Firebase service. This is nothing but the Firebase wrapper on top of the Firebase library, which nothing but just gives us the current user, and I just get the UID of that user, of the current user basically. Then I use the same use case class to get the user details from the Python backend, which I showed you earlier. So in that I just call this save lag long is basically for the renter, but if we call that, so this is the retrofit representation of the API. So this is what it calls, and I'll show you. I guess you have seen this already. So this is what the API gets called, and it fetches all the details. I have in mind to optimize it rather than fetching all the details based on what I need. I will send the data rather than sending everything. But yeah, as of now I'm sending everything, like user ID, first, last name, permanent address, blah blah blah, profile pic, properties, if it is what can I say, and owner, then property details will be shown for that user. When the account was created, when the account was updated, user type, owner or renter, all those things. So yeah, to make an API call, it's only like I'm making only 3 classes, 3 layers as of now. Yeah, and so this is what makes the API call. But instead of using a suspend function, I am using flows to update the state base counter current is suspend state. So basically, if the API gets triggered, I make the state of logging. Then depending on if it is a success or error, I make gag state, and after that I just make the idle state. So how I make success or error? It's basically after getting the response from the service class of the retrofit, I call this extension function on the HTTPS response class and see if it is correct. I mean successful or not, like getting the successful on all those. And if it is an error, I see if I can fetch the error code and the message from it. If I can, I send it. Otherwise, something went wrong, error, I send it. Now, this is basically a Crashlytics service to see the crashes and all into the Crashlytics. I will show you how the Crashlytics currently looks like. So these are all the errors currently. You will see this error all the time due to since I am running it on emulator. I'll show why. So this was the API call. There is one more thing into the API call is an interceptor which I have added. So all the API calls which are triggered mostly has one thing in common is Firebase app check token must be sent into the header to validate if the app token is correct or not. And how I get that was rather than adding to every API, I added it into the this interceptor. So this is what the service class which fetches the app check token from the Firebase and returns that token. But since I'm running it on emulator, it always throws one error, which is this one only. Too many one. There must be one more. Yeah, app attestation failed, and like usually it comes I've seen till now only on emulator. In my device, the physical device is usually works. So to undo that for now, I have commented that exception tag and just I'm not passing I'm making the random string every time for each user. Now this was for the interceptor. I will show for the the rest guys. So this is for the permissions. This is basically to see ask for external storage, your accurate or approximate locations. Okay, this I will show properly. Helper mark much dot types on device. Okay, for storing details into the local storage, I'm using save preference. So it just provides a save preference object and into a repository, and whenever I want to like suppose I want to save the current user type or much better I want to save the current location with the lag long value, I just call this method from wherever I want to save the current location of the user. And whenever I want the current user location, I just call this variable which is overwritten here to fetch the lag long from the local storage and send it as a pair. And how I use it is I just fetch this. So saved latitude is basically the current location first, since it's a pair, and the longitude is the second. And whenever I need it, I just call it into this area, or whenever I want, wherever I want. And yeah, there's not much more to this. There are few things as well, but I will tell as I move forward, which are already added. So it will be easier to understand when I show it rather than tell. So this is a search. If I want to search for a user, so I will add a username, and after it fetches everything, it will show me all the details available, like properties. There's no property with plugin in its details. Users there are two, in which one is a owner and one is a renter. So this is a renter and this is a owner. So if I click on this, it will show me a renter user details. Now if I grab task, so this is a good thing to see. Activity return. Okay, this I know. This is basically the permission which is gets called again, which I need to see if I can handle it properly. I will show this one, how I made this form. It's nothing but this a composable. So this is the screen for it. So as you can see, there is nothing much here. So what it does is it takes the fields, this composable, it takes a field on value chain, what it has to do, the app bar text, the app bar navigation icon, what needs to be shown, then what action needs to be happen when I click on that, and the bottom bar, what needs to be shown at the bottom of the form. Page cake basically is used to show a loading bar, an error message, and how you want to dismiss the error message basically. So if I go there, so here you can see it has a scaffold as well. Why, I will show you. So if I click on address option which is shown based on the compose type. So if it's a location picker, composable, it shows this one with all the label, text and all, label and the body. And if I click on it, it does not do anything much, but it just open the location backdrop, or you can say a bottom sheet basically. Now how this composables or the composable type is created, I will show you. So if I go to fields, to this one, so these are all the fields that you can see: the property name, address, where I am not giving much, just the compose type and the ID, and rest are all almost same. Like perks, it will be an outline text field, which is this one, and yeah, same thing goes for all. And whenever user clicks on save button, it fetches all the details from by using the ID, and this is what it checks if all the values are not null and all those, and send the value. If not null, if all the values are not null, then it calls the API call to save the property. I will show how I am storing the details. It's basically I'm using Mongo database to store the details which are coming to the Python backend service. So to make it more clear, so this is what the front end Android Jetpack Compose looks like. Now this connects to Python basically. I will need this big. And this internally what it does is it connects to MongoDB, and the app also connects to Firebase. In that is basically like authentication, then storage, then what else? Firestore I'm not using for anything. It's just for creating a random ID every time. Rest all are not required as of now. So these are the two things. So being added. Okay. Python only connects to that. There is not much to it, and yeah, I was showing you how it looks in MongoDB basically. So there is one property added. So this is the property ID when by whom it was created, the one who created was the owner or not, is it available for rank, and all those things. So these are all the details which are added by the owner here. Is for ranker, are you the owner, what kind of ranker is allowed, furnace type, then images. So images are basically saved in array with the URL, which is basically the file storage URL. So this is how it looks like here. So all the properties images are stored into properties folder, and all the user images are stored in user folder. So there is a, how can I put it, if a user changes his images, this doesn't replace it, rather it creates always new, which one of the points I have to fix, or if I can optimize it, rather than having multiple images for a single user. I can optimize and remove that. So all this, and one more, this is the user collection where I have two users as of now. One is a owner and one is a ranker. And rest all details are same as what I do. Profile pic, if is not present, then it's a empty string. And whatever I have created till now, it's all presenting to this direct GitHub repo. I will add the link into a description. You can go through it. It will be easier for you to understand if you see the code, and it's divided based on that. So Android is here, Python project is here. So if you go inside Android rental, that's the Android project, and if you want to see the Python project, you can directly go to Python rental and see what I have developed in Python. Yeah, if you want. This is not a Python course. No, I will not say course, but it's not a Python video. So still you can go to any folder if you want to and see what I have been developing so far. So that's it for now. Next I will be showing you to add a property, how I will add it, and one more is this. So if you go into any property, owner has an option to edit and search for a ranker. So I will be starting with search for a ranker option, and before that I will be adding few more ranker properties so that it has a lot of data to look into. Yeah. So thanks for watching. Currently the videos and all might not be good since I've just started, so it might get better in future. So thanks for watching, and happy to learn and help if